Chapter 11. A few days later, Teddy, Leela, and their daughter Georgia, along with Johnny May and Hortense and their families, were at Helen's for Sunday dinner, something they started up again ever since Lou and the boys moved in. Teddy loved his nieces and nephews, and since Lou's children were the only boys, Teddy felt closer to them. He taught them baseball and track and field and how to box. The boys loved their Uncle Teddy and enjoyed every moment they spent with him. After dinner, Lou stepped outside to smoke a cigarette and Teddy followed her. "How's my favorite niece?" he asked. "I'm all right, I guess," she replied. "Still down about wanting to move?" he asked. "Uncle Teddy, she wouldn't even think about it. She just turned it down flat," she replied. "Well, my sister's stubborn. I always have been. But I guess she got her reasons for wanting to stay," he said. "Mama don't want to change," she said. "Your mama didn't have enough change in her life, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go to California," he said. "I couldn't leave Mama behind and move so far away. The boys would miss her. I would miss her." Teddy half smiled and said, "You're more like your mama than you think." Then he hugged her and said, "I wouldn't worry about it too much. Opportunity has a way of knocking more than once, no matter what they say." Lou hugged him and smiled. She always loved talking to him. "Thanks, Uncle Teddy. I always feel better after I talk to you." "Hey, that's what being an uncle is all about. Now come, let's go inside and eat some of your mama's delicious peach cobbler." As time went by, Lou let go of the dream of moving to California and was feeling like herself again. One weekend, a new face walked inside the game house and made all the women's heads turn. "Hey, you finally made it. How have you been?" Roy said with a smile as he greeted the handsome man with a handshake. "Roy, I told you whenever I was close to the Mississippi River, your place would be my first stop. By the looks of things, you have the happening spot," the man said while shaking Roy's hand. Roy inflated with pride. "Well, thank you. That's a big compliment coming from you," he said. "Just calling it like I see it. I wouldn't mind playing a little poker, but first I gotta eat something," the man said. "Say no more." "Lou, come here, please," Roy yelled. Lou walked over to them. "This is the woman who runs the best poker tables in town," Roy said. The man looked at her from head to toe, smiled and said, "Is that so?" "Oh yes, believe me, she's the best. Lou, see to it that he gets something good and hot to eat, and sit him at the VIP poker table," Roy said. Lou rolled her eyes at the man. "All right, follow me, sir," she said as she walked away. The man smiled. "Yes, ma'am," he said. Lou took him to the kitchen and fixed a plate of pot roast, potatoes, string beans, and cornbread. Then she handed it to him. "It looks delicious and smells divine," he said. "It's the best food in town. I should know. I made it," she said. "Is that so?" "Yes, that's so." "Would you like a slice of lemon cake?" she asked. "Did you make that too?" "Yep," she replied. "Then how could I turn it down?" he teased. "You can sit and eat it in here. I'll get you something cool to drink," she said. After Lou gave him a tall glass of lemonade, she turned to leave. "Lou, will you hang out till I'm done? I hate eating alone," he said. "This house is full of fools. You're not alone," she said, then walked away. When she left the kitchen, a coworker ran up to her. "I wish Roy would have had me fix his friend a plate. Damn, he fine," she said. Lou looked at the woman and said, "He probably ain't no good." "Good or not, he is a tall glass of water, Lou, and it's been a long time since your husband. Ain't you thirsty?" the coworker asked. Lou laughed and asked, "Why are you asking me this?" "Because while every woman in this place was looking at him, he was only looking at you." Lou waved her hand at the woman and laughed. "Oh, girl, stop it. You a hot mess," and walked away. Later at the poker table, Lou couldn't help but be impressed with the man's ability to bluff his way through every other player's pockets at the table. By the end, he was definitely the big winner. She was even more impressed with the huge tip he gave her. While the rest of the girls were taking care of the last few customers and cleaning up, Lou stepped out on the back porch to get some air. She gazed at the stars in the sky. "I don't think I've ever seen a night so bright," the man said. Lou was startled. "Do you always sneak up behind women?" she asked. "Are you always so mean?" he responded. "I'm not mean. I just don't know you," she said. "Oh, I see. My name is Memphis Cobb. Is Lou your real name?" "Lou is short for Luella Macklin." "Nice to meet you, Luella," he said. Lou smiled. "Now that's even better than gazing at the stars," he said. Lou chuckled. "You're fresh," she said. He laughed. "Well, I guess I've always been fresh," he teased. "So, are you from Memphis?" she asked. "My pop was from Memphis, born and raised. My mama was from California." That piqued Lou's curiosity. "Really?" "Mm-hmm. My pop met my mama while she was visiting her favorite cousin who moved to Memphis after she married. Pop always said when he met Mama it was love at first sight. After courting her for a week, she went back to California. For a while, they talked on the telephone long distance, but that wasn't enough for Pops, so he took his life savings and packed his clothes along with my grandmother's wedding ring she gave him before she died and headed to Los Angeles," Memphis said. "What happened when he got there?" she asked. "They got married, had a handsome baby boy, and was happy together for 15 years, he replied. "Why did it end?" she asked. "They both died together in an automobile accident. But I don't believe it ever ended because they went beyond to death do us part," he replied while staring at the moon. Lou was very impressed. For the next week, Lou and Memphis were inseparable. He took her and the boys shopping and bought them entire wardrobes. He met Helen, Teddy, Leela, and the rest of the family, and they all thought he was a good guy. Although Memphis didn't live in East St. Louis, he was there every couple of weeks and stayed for days at a time. One night when Memphis was in town, he enjoyed Sunday dinner at Helen's. Afterwards, he followed Teddy out to the front porch while the ladies cleared the table. "I don't know when I've enjoyed the town so much," Memphis said. "We all like having you here. You and Lou remind me of a couple I knew a long time ago," Teddy said. "And I'm beginning to think of you as the uncle I never had," Memphis responded. Teddy smiled. "So you ain't got no family out west?" Teddy asked. "Nope, just me," Memphis replied. "Sounds like a lonely life," Teddy said. "I've always been on the move, always on the go. This is the first time in a long time that I even thought about slowing down." "Your niece is something else," Memphis replied. Teddy chuckled. "She's got spirit, that's for sure," Teddy said. "Not to mention beauty," Memphis said. "This is true. So with all that being said, when you gonna make an honest woman out my niece?" Teddy asked. "It's not that I don't want to. I love Lou, and I love the boys like they're my own sons. But I want Lou to move to California, and Lou would never leave her mama behind," Memphis replied. Just then, Lou walked out on the porch. "Uncle Teddy, Auntie Leela said if you want some peach ice cream, you better come and get it before the kids eat it up." "Gotta go," Teddy said before running into the house. Lou and Memphis laughed. "You want some ice cream?" she asked. "What I want is not on the menu," Memphis teased. Lou laughed. "You are so fresh," she said. "Well, I guess I've always been fresh," he responded. On his next visit, Memphis wanted to take Lou out dancing. Lou invited her sister Hortense and husband to go with them. Memphis came to pick up Lou wearing a dark gray suit, gray and black Stacey Adams shoes, and donned a gray-brimmed hat on his head. He was too clean. Lou walked into the living room wearing a light gray dress with gray gloves and matching gray and black heels. Her stockings had a seam going down the back, and she wore a beautiful artificial silk rose on the side of her freshly pressed and curled hair. Her lips were painted with red lipstick, and the rest of her makeup was full glam and flawless. Memphis had never seen her so beautiful. Hortense and her husband was clean too. They all looked good. When Helen came out of her bedroom to take a glance, she marveled at how nice everyone looked. It reminded her of when she was younger, balling with her sissy, Marco, Teddy, and Leela. Y'all gonna put everybody else to shame when they see y'all coming. Was that the plan? Helen teased. Our plan is to ball, Mama. I can't wait to see Memphis do his thing, Lou replied. You mean that tired two-step they do in California? Hortense said. Hey, tonight keep your eye on the kid and you might learn something, Memphis said. No, honey. Tonight you gonna learn how we do it here in East Boogie. You gonna learn how to do the dog, Lou said. Yeah, the dog, Hortense yelled. Memphis looked at Hortense's husband. The dog? What the hell is that? Hortense's husband laughed. You'll see, he said. Helen laughed. Now y'all know Memphis don't know nothing about the dog, so don't hurt him. Go easy on him and have a good time. After everyone left, Helen checked on the boys who were sleeping soundly in their beds. She kissed them each on the forehead and silently thanked the good Lord they were there with her. Then she made a cup of tea, poured a shot of whiskey in it, and sat in the living room. She thought about Pete and how much he would have loved his grandchildren, all of them. Well, Pete, Lou has met a man I think you would approve of. He reminds me of you and Marco. He has Marco's style and your personality, a good combination. I never seen Lou this happy, not even with her first husband. Watching them laughing and carrying on reminded me when we used to ball, and I'm looking forward to balling with all of you again on the other side. Helen had grown tired. She had been having dreams of going to heaven and being so excited to see her loved ones. She had become almost obsessed with the idea of dying. Although she never told a soul, not even Teddy, she knew her time to reunite with her heavenly family was coming soon.